Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have for you a NuTone-Scovill 52-inch Verandah Deluxe ceiling fan. Um, this is my first one of these also, and I'm very happy to have one of these. I've been looking for one of these for a while, but I didn't, like, this isn't one that I've recently got. I've actually had this one for a while. I got this one last summer, at the same time as the Sears turn of the century 1895 version and the Panama Fan Company gear driven fan. I actually got this from the same collector that I got the Panama Fan Company gear driven fan, Cormac, and so he was very gracious and gave me this one as well. So I'm very happy to have this one, as I mentioned. Yeah, so I don't know where to begin. This one's in a little bit rough shape, cosmetically and mechanically. It could use some work. Everything is almost everything is there. I didn't get it with the mounting bracket, so I had to use the mounting bracket from my NuTone Slimline, which I had hanging on display, but I recently took it down, so that's why I couldn't hang it until now. Uh, yeah, and then I also, because it has like a smaller double claw bracket that it wouldn't fit on any of the grommets, like for originals that I have or anything else. Um, this is, I believe, from around 1981. I'm not sure if that's exactly when it's from. I'm just gonna say that's like a ballpark year, date at least. So yeah. Um, and then it was missing some of the blade arm to blade, or sorry, blade arm to flywheel screws for the flywheel. I was able to find some replacements that fit, but I'll probably eventually get some permanent ones. Uh, it's missing the ornate finial on the nose cap. There should be like some sort of little like ornate, sort of like, it's basically like a finial on the end of the nose cap that covers up the plug and the two holes, but that's missing. And the nose cap is also the wrong finish. That's an antique brass nose cap. But you can't really tell, honestly, unless you look really closely. Uh, Now, this fan actually, like I said, I got this from a fellow fan collector, but it actually came from another collector before Cormac had it. It actually first belonged to Colin, who I've gotten several fans from before. And then he said he got it from another collector. I'm not sure who else had this one before he did, but I'm sure he'll probably comment about it. And he was the one that added the antique brass nose cap on it. Um, yeah. So the bearings are a little rough. They're not super noisy, but they are a little noisy. I'm not sure if I'm gonna replace them, but I might like open it up and give them some oil. Uh, this one has a universal motor also, which is kind of interesting. I was under the assumption most of them had GEs, but apparently some had GEs, some had universals, evidently, and then some also had Westinghouse. Which I think I did know that, but I just forgotten. Is this is actually only like the third NuTone I've owned, because I had that decorator, the antique brass decorator, a long time ago when we first moved in here. Gave that away, and then I got the Slimline. I still have the Slimline, and then I got this one. So, yeah, I don't know why I don't seem to find a lot of NuTones, but yeah. So these came in 52-inch and 36-inch size only, I believe, but they came in a bunch of different finish combinations. Like you could do like all brass like this, antique brass, white and brass, brown and brass, all brown. They had a whole bunch of different like sideband, faceplate, downrod nose and canopy, and blade arm finish combinations. Basically, I think you could do like what Southern Fan Company offered, where you could do like any combination of any parts. And then they also had like various blade designs. Like they had cane blades. Some had like the fake plastic cane. Um, Plain blades. This one's got stencil blades, which you can't really see it on the wood finish blades. The white blades you can see it a lot better on, but I really like the NuTone stencil actually, even though it's kind of subtle. Uh, and There was also some earlier models, I think they were earlier, that had a larger motor housing. Um, I'm not sure if the, yeah, I think those were a little bit earlier. Um, because then, uh, I don't know, you don't see those as often, I think, and I don't really know if I noticed them until like, um, I started looking at houses for sale and I like found a few with the huge motor housing. Um, I wouldn't mind finding one of those. The 36-inch with the big motor housing uh looks pretty cool, honestly. But yeah, I don't know what else there is to say. I guess I'll go ahead and start up the fan now. Oh, it does have the speed control system. It is variable speed, as you can see, but it actually has I think it's what Fasco referred to as the very low speed control setup. Sears also used it for their ceiling fans. Well, I guess technically they were made by Emerson, and NuTone evidently also used it, but it's where the pull chain actually has a high position, like where the fan is like bypassing the variable speed control, and then the next speed will be the variable speed. So the way Fasco like advertised it as like very low, where the low is the variable speed. So with that being said, I guess I'll start it off. I got the variable speed turned down to low, so that's the high setting. There's an off position between each of the speeds. Oops. I guess it's a little stiff. Is that going to stay running? I adjusted the low speed trim, and it is just a regular solid state cardboard box control in there. So I did adjust the solid state, or the low speed trim. But I guess I've been running it to sort of free the bearings up. I don't know why it didn't start. But that's the thing I like about these variable speed fans, is you can get them to go nice and slow. And Casablancas were really good at it with their slumber quiet system, because they got the slowest low possible without it stalling out. I wonder if I can back it down, because I don't have it all the way. Back it back down and it'll stay running and won't stall out. Because I made sure to get it to where it would go slow enough where that it would start and it would keep running and it wouldn't stall out, but it would start like every time when you turn it on. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Definitely a very, very nice, slow aesthetic low. I love that with a variable speed, or specifically solid state fans. Very nice. Alright, I'm going to turn it up about 1/8 of a turn, which I think that's what it was on before when I had to start it, so it's not going to be much of a difference. You also may notice, I think, 2 of the blade arms, the finish is a little tarnished on. I don't know what the deal with that is. I have them like across from each other. Another 1/8. And I've never seen these before in person, ever, that I can remember at least. This is my first one I've seen in person, actually. We're starting to get in functional low territory. Oh, and then another thing I didn't mention, or forgot to mention, the variable speed knob is very similar to that of the old Fasco. Like the old controls that they used for the parlor fans, the knobs, at least. I've got a Fasco speed control somewhere, like a very low speed control with 2 knobs on it that has that same or similar knob. I don't think it's exactly the same, but it is very similar. And that's like functional low, so we'll go up another eighth. This is probably getting into medium low territory. All right, another eighth. All right, bump it up a little more. It's a slow-ish medium, I think. I think a little, one more eighth, and we'll be into a good medium speed. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good medium, I'd say. There's a slight wobble. It's not as bad as it was. I did balance it. All right, another eighth. And that's like in medium-high range. Oh, I also forgot to put a pull chain extension on it, I just realized. Whoops. A little more. Creeping up into high range now. And you can hear the bearings, probably. Like I said, a little noisy, not like super bad, like not grinding, dry bearing sound, but definitely could use some work. A little more. And that, now we're up to 100% high on the variable speed. I got it pretty well balanced on high speed. It just wobbles a little bit on the lower, or the medium speeds. And now I'm going to change it from the variable speed or solid state high to straight up high. Oh yeah, that's definitely a little bit faster. And there was like a slight like undertone buzz with the solid state in circuit. So the solid state definitely was dragging it a little bit. It's a good high speed. Very powerful. And this is the first one I've tested with a universal motor, I think. I don't think any of my other fans have universal motors, so I'm impressed. Alright, spin it down now. I can already tell this is going to be a pretty long video. Thankfully, I don't think Spindown is going to be too long because it's already getting pretty... Yeah, those bearings are quite stiff, I'd say. I think they could use, if not replacement, some oiling and some work. I'll leave it running a little bit longer because I've had it running like almost for like 3 days straight now. So, yeah, I don't know. But I'll switch it to reverse, and these have the reverse switch on the faceplate, kind of like on like the Fascos and Emersons. but it's like in between the vents, which actually aren't even really vents, which I'll show you in a minute. But now, well, let's start the fan up on high first. Start it on high with the variable speed bypassed on straight up high. Actually, I haven't tested this one in reverse yet, so this will be a first time. And now high with the solid state in circuit, or on the quote-unquote very low setting. So now I'm not going to make this one as long as in forward. I'll do like quarter of a turn for each instead of an eighth. The motor's a little bit noisier. It's buzzing a little more in reverse. There's like a bit of a cyclic buzz that I didn't notice in forward. The wobble seems to be just a bit worse, maybe? I don't know, maybe it's the same. Okay, down a little more. Alright, and let's see. Maybe probably another turn, and then we'll be at low. Maybe not. There we go. Okay. I can never judge like what exactly an eighth or a quarter of a turn exactly is on these knobs. I was probably doing like tenth of a turns on forward. So yeah, now it's no surprise to me that it didn't start up on low at first because the bearings are still pretty stiff. Alright. I think that just about does it for the demonstration portion. So now, get the up close view portion. So here's the fan itself. And as you can see, it's like not in super 100% great shape, but it's passable. The blade arm that's the most tarnished, you can see it's kind of like that telltale pinkish rose shade that brass gets when it tarnishes, or bad brass, I should say. Because good brass will just kind of get dark. Yeah, the sideband's got like some of the finish. I think this is just lacquer, honestly, because it's like chrome in some places like that. Canopy, I think that this is the earlier style canopy for these, because the later style canopy was like, where's my slimline? Is it over here? Like this one on my slimline here, this canopy. Although I don't know, I like I said, I'm not familiar with verandas so much, so I don't know if they use that canopy, but that's the other one, the later one that they used on their more economic models of fans, I guess you could say. Also, I totally forgot to mention, these succeeded directly the friction drive verandas, which were I don't think they were the original verandas. I think the original one was that weird, like, industrial style one that Dan has a few videos on, that's like the brown with, I think it was 4 blades. I haven't seen the video in so long, and I can't remember what it looks like for the life of if it had 4 blades or 3 blades, but it had no nose. That was, I believe, the original veranda. And then the friction drives came out, and then these. So, variable speed, knob, and the nose, and you can see now this is clearly an antique brass cap. And then your NuTone stencil, which I really like. It's a nice little design. These also have metal flywheels. I don't think I mentioned that either. It's not rubber flywheels. And then on top here, and like I said, these are not vents. They're stamped. They're part of the housing, but they look like vents, and they've put these little black like stickers, decals in each of them to make them look even more like vents. And I thought they were for the longest time, but the white ones are painted all white. So, and the brown ones, of course, are all brown, but that's a dark color, so it still looks like it's a vent. But the white ones especially, you can clearly see. And I believe they use the same faceplate for the Sea Island. If not the same one, a very similar one. On top here, you got your motor. There's the Universal Electric logo right there. And the UL listing sticker, and then here's the information. The NuTone Division, Scoville, amperage, model number PFD-52, I believe. Yep, PFD-52. I'm reading my screen upside down here. And then there's a stamp here. It says J81, either, I think that's a 0, 52 inches. I don't know if that's for that's where I thought 1981 came from. And that's why I'm saying it's probably a ballpark year, because that seems reasonable for when this one will be from. So anyway, I think that just about does it for this pretty long video. So if you made it this far, I commend you. And thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video.